So you can keep watching. Welcome to my channel. I'm at a little bit of a different spot because I want to be a little seasonal while I still have decorations and all that going on. And I have for you a wrap up of my Pan Those Eyeshadows project. So if you want to hear how I did, then please keep watching. So a lot of panners do projects where they try to hit pans and eyeshadows. It didn't work the best for me. I'll just start by saying that. So I started it just a few months ago. So really, there wasn't going to be some huge number or, of pans I hit or changes in my collection. The reason I started this project when I did, I was starting to plan for next year how I want to do my panning and eyeshadows and all of that. So this was just kind of doing some baby steps into what I've seen other people do, see how it worked for me, and I realized it didn't. I have already planned what I want to do for 2025. I will have a video up explaining it. It's maybe a little bit complicated. I do sometimes overcomplicate things. I can always reevaluate, change it up. It's not a big deal. For this project, I'm sure you want to know how it went. I have my little book here because I can't remember everything. When I started, I picked 3 shades randomly that did not have pan, and I also picked 3 shades myself that didn't have pan that I wanted to see how it would go. So I will link my first update where I talked about the shades that I hit pan on and how it was going. For the shades I have not hit pan on, the first one, there's not really much to show you. It's a Sydney Grace single. I had used it probably less than 10 times before rolling it into this. I had used it at least 5 times because that was my whole use every single I got 5 times at least. And there is a dip that's here. I can feel it, I can see it, but it's not even halfway down. We've got a long ways to go. I was able to weigh it when I brought it in, and it was 3 3600 grams, and now it is 3 2600 grams. So I did lose, or use, not really lose, I used 1/10 of a gram, which, I don't know, I think that's still good. I did attempt to mark my uses, but I know that I missed some uses for probably all the shades. Sometimes they were in other projects. Sometimes, I just would forget that it was kind of part of this project and wouldn't tally it. So what I have marked down is 25 uses. Might be a little bit more than that, but probably not, like 50 uses or anything. The next one is from my Vivid Pigments palette. This one already had a bit of a dip, and it still has a bit of a dip, and that's as far as it went. Again, I would say the dip is maybe like 1/4 of the way down. That's it. It started at 4 6600 grams, and now it is at 4 5900 grams, so I only used 7/100 of a gram. But I will say it's very pigmented. I had a feeling all the eyeshadows from this palette will be hard to hit pan on just because I don't need a lot. And yeah, that's just how it goes. I don't know how much is in each to start. And also mine, I put magnets on the back, so that's going to affect their weight anyway. Okay. Then, so you can't really see it. It's really tiny, and I think because I used it again since, and it kind of covered over the pan. So you'll have to believe me, but this is Terra Borealis, and when I rolled it in, it was 2 2900 grams. I had only used it once the last time, and it was down to 2 2800 grams, and when I hit pan, it was 2 2500 grams. I knew I didn't have much left to, many uses left to hit pan, so there you go. And now I was going back in with all of my other sparkly shades. Okay, the next eyeshadow I rolled in was another Sydney Grace single. This one, I have not used it nearly as many times. I've only used it, well, this is another one. I know I haven't tracked it the best, but I put down 10 uses. It was 3 5200 grams when I rolled it in, and now it is 3 5/10, which means I just used 200ths of a gram with my 10 uses. So again, just how it is. This shade, it's not that it's overly pigmented, but the uses I have for it are more targeted or using a little and blending out. So, I don't use a lot with each use. So, I feel like 10 uses is pretty good for just rolling it in at the end of October. So, from my Blend Bunny palette, the Sickly Sweet shade. So again, I've only rolled it in for, it's been less than 2 months. I have 9 uses on it. I can't weigh it. It looks like I've scratched the surface. That's all. I have used it a bit for like darkening a corner. I've used it for eyeliner. I've used it in my brows. I don't need a lot. It's a really great shade. It's almost brand new, so it's, doing just fine. So it's gonna take me a while. Maybe I should have started with one of the pastel shades in here first, but this is what my phone gave me. It was not my choice. And finally, with only 6 uses, basically because I've been working on a bunch of other purples at this time, so I've used it. It's from my Products palette. But it always felt a little bit like cheating because do I need another purple with my other purples, but I want to probably use the purple with the purples, and yeah. So it's this shade right here, and it definitely has a little bit of a dip going, but it's not a lot. I don't know. I would still like to know how many uses it takes in something like this, which is why I pulled this one in. So, it has more use on it than most of the other shades in here, maybe all of them. So it does tell me that maybe I could hit pan on these. I have no pans in this palette at this time. So definitely a goal for this coming year to have maybe multiple pans hit in this one. But I am not rolling in anything else. I'm not doing anything else. It's just my finale because, as I said, it worked okay. I just didn't feel like I had like these isolated shades because I'd have one shade from one palette and one shade from another, and it just was overwhelming a bit to remember which shades I needed to hit pan on, and trying to remember to track my uses and all that. So like I said, I am doing something different for the coming year. In some ways, it is simpler than this for as far as how many palettes and all are hanging around and, that kind of thing. But it's also maybe a bit complicated, just like myself. So if you want to know about that project or any other projects or makeup and all that I'm doing, then please subscribe. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and thank you for watching it. Until my next video, I hope you'll be doing well, and I'll see you then. Bye.